De style holding, où le canot est à nid longé. Flip the switch.
Übers Mühlort. It's Halbedone.
In the year 2028, one Big Mac will equal $1 million. From the Gospel of John McAfee. Bro, just learn to code. The Project Freedom Podcast.
Boom, and welcome back to your favorite podcast of all time, the Project Freedom Podcast. And are you guys ready for semi-retirement? Boy, oh boy, fellas. This is going to be a fun topic for me tonight because, well, first and foremost, it concerns boomers, and I have a few boomers in my life who I care about, and I'm sure you guys all do too. And in relation to a lot of the streams that I've done with Greg B, as far as like the financial stuff and like boomer finance, I thought that this would play in perfectly with some of the things that we talk about here regularly. So, fellas, I want you guys to first. So, I have an article about that explains this, okay? And it kind of puts it in better light. But I think a lot of people are kind of missing the core, at least what I see is the core issue. And again, I don't really, what do I know? I'm just a guava farmer. I mean, I don't really know much, right? So let's watch this video, fellas. Tell me what you guys think about this video. And actually, I'm gonna have to voice my opinion on some things in here too. So let us watch. Are you guys ready to meet this guy?
The teacher who semi-retired and is now a part-time delivery driver for the rest of my life. And I want to talk about the question that I get more often than any other question in response to these videos.
By the way, I think this guy's 35. I think he's 35. So he's semi-retiring at 35. He is not a boomer. In fact, you could consider him a millennial. So I did want to note that. His case is going to be a little bit different than the more older people that we're going to be talking about tonight. So yeah.
Videos or when I tell my story to people in the fire community. And that is this. Are you glad that you quit your teaching job when you did? Or do you wish you would have stuck it out for a few more years to increase your savings? Or do you wish you had done it sooner? And now that it's been almost 3 years since I quit my teaching job, I feel like I can really definitively actually answer that question. Because obviously in the first 6 months, I didn't know if I was happy I did it yet, because who knows if it's going to work. But now I feel really confident that it's going to actually work. So the answer for me is yes. I think our timing was good. And as far as our numbers go, we both quit our jobs once our net worth got a little bit higher than $300,000. And our annual expenses are somewhere around $30,000. So
basically, guys, like what he's going to explain is, as far as like math goes, he's going to explain how with the amount of money that he has saved, that he's eligible to retire now, but it's not a full retirement because he still has to work X amount of, I think like 15 hours per week. And I think he ends up just doing like, he's delivering pizzas like Dave Ramsey asked. I think he's doing Uber or something like that. I'm not sure, but he even says at the end of the video, I'll go ahead and ruin that part. He's like, and that is in 2021 dollars, but that's one of the whole points that I'm going to talk about.
That's how much we need to earn each year in order to not touch any of the investments. That's the general game plan. And the question is, did those numbers work? And Am I happy we pulled the trigger when we did, or should I have waited till 400,000 or what? And we've been through some stuff these last couple of years. We have sold a house, we moved, rented for a while, we bought a house, so we had to pay a lot of expenses. We moved twice. We paid the closing costs for selling a house and buying another one. The house that we bought ended up needing a new roof. That was $5,000. Mary had a health incident where we had a surprise $6,000 medical bill. So we've had, and the stock market just completely went bananas this year. And there was the pandemic, which had some job insecurity.
You don't say. Let's continue.
So I think we can definitively say whether or not it was a good idea, whether it was an appropriate amount of risk choosing to semi-retire when we did. And I think yes, but I am glad we waited as long as we did. I think if we would have been any more aggressive than we were, I would feel pretty shaky about our financial position right now. So I feel like this was actually kind of a good little metric, a good test, where we've had lots of surprise expenses in our first 3 years of semi-retirement. We started.
All right, so they keep calling it semi-retirement. He's like, we have a medical expense. Well, like, of course you have to like take stuff like that in consideration, right? And then he was saying that they had a bunch of random expenses. Like, guys, in my opinion, like $300,000 is not enough to retire off of, at least not in 2021 money. That's for damn sure. Might be enough to last you for a few years, but if you keep in mind that every year that passes by, that percent of that money, first of all, you're spending some of it, right? And second of all, the value of that money is decreasing by X amount of percent per year. I don't give a hoot what they're saying is the inflation rate based off of CPI. I think most of us, we all know that that's wrong. You know what, guys? Speaking of, hold on, let me go. I saw this. I was just in Whole Foods like 2 hours for the stream, and I went and purchased something that I normally purchase, and it was $2 more expensive than it was last week. Let me go show you guys. Hold on. What's up, guys? I'm Josh, or as you probably know me, eLift Program, and I'm here to talk to you about Developer Direction. What is Developer Direction, you might ask? We are the ultimate IT network and training academy. Ever heard of Fight Club? Yeah, it's kind of like that, but with more computing power. We teach and give courses just like boot camps, but that's not all. We help people. All right, this, guys, Nutty Light. This is basically just like sugar-free, lighter Nutella. I put this on my bagel every time I eat a bagel, and this thing is normally $5.99. It was like $7.90. Literally, I think it was actually like $8.99. So I think it was like $3 more expensive than it was last week. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, let's put this guy back on here. Let's let him finish doing what he's talking about.
Started at a net worth of about $310,000, and as of January 2021, our net worth is something like $375,000. So we're about $60,000 wealthier than we were when we quit our jobs. Although, you know, that was not a steady journey. Obviously, the stock market struggled and we had some expenses. In fact, we ended up needing to replace the roof of our house when the stock market was down.
All right, so like point blank, like what if you need a new roof on your house? That's insane, right? Like that's like probably going to be $10,000 to $20,000 right there. Wade Emery says this week is going by so fast. Yeah, dude, it is. I can concur with that. I can concur. Camus says, help. I've fallen in the system and I can't retire. Yep. 30K definitely wouldn't be enough to fix that guy. No. Does he have it? We'll examine that in 1 second, Cody. We'll examine that in 1 second. Let me tell you about the cost of specialty coffee lately. Is it expensive? Is specialty coffee more expensive lately, Cody? Snowman Mike says, but CPI says 7%. Why is my food up 35%? All right, guys. So let's actually do that. What is okay? So $5.99. All right, $5.99. I'm guessing that's like at least that's like 17% to go from 599 to 899. No, wait a second. That is more than hold up. Yeah, that's about like 599 times 0.45567. It's about 50%. That's about the 50%. Yeah. I don't know about all that. That 7%. 35%, Mike. It's I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's go back to you, boy, over here, fellas.
I decided to sell a couple thousand in shares when it was down. But overall, am I happy that we quit when we did? You know, if I had a time machine, would I have continued teaching for another year or two just to push those numbers up some more? I don't think so. I think we actually timed it pretty perfectly.
Okay.
And I guess one thing that I will say is there is more that could have gone wrong in the past 3 years, but we didn't make a plan that could handle everything going wrong. We just made a plan that could handle multiple things going wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, like, first of all, what are the chances of like everything going wrong? But still, the severity of something going wrong in your life as opposed to something else could vary in severity, right? So I don't know, dude. I just turned 30 about a month and a half ago, about 2 months ago, and I do not feel comfortable to retire 100%. You know what I mean? Like, what? And first of all, like, why would you? So I guess not everyone's the same, right? Like, I get fulfillment out of like doing things that I think most people don't get fulfillment out of. And so, you know, work and building businesses, et cetera, like that, that's enjoyable to me just because of the process alone. If you are a normal person, if you're a normal friend and you don't like doing that, I mean, he was a school teacher. So, I mean, I guess maybe being a school teacher is not very fun. I wouldn't know. I've never been. But I could assume that most likely that dude, maybe he was like, that was not a job that he felt was valuable in his life. Or at least gave him value. And he was like, I got to do something else. Or I just want to go ahead and retire. And again, this dude's 35. So like, this is a different edge case, I think, here, as opposed to the article that we're about to look at as soon as this guy's done talking. But there's like, why not just go do something else other than just say that you're retired, but you're actually just only partially retired because you're driving an Uber for 15 hours a week or whatever it is.
Because I don't know, I didn't want to keep working my butt off, getting up to an alarm clock every day over and over and being stressed all the way through my 30s. I wanted to try to start chilling and having some fun now. So yeah, that is my answer to the question. I am happy with when we pulled the trigger. I think one more year of teaching to push our numbers up a little bit would have been good, but I'm happy with what we did. So basically, we transitioned into semi-retirement when our savings were equal to about 10x what our expected annual expenses were. And that ended up working out, but that was probably the bottom of the threshold. Like, I don't think I would advise anyone else.
I know I keep cutting them off, guys. I gotta say, if his expenses are like, I think he says either 25 or 35 grand a year. I don't know where he lives, but it's got to be someplace cheap or he's doing nothing at all. Like he's just buying chicken from the grocery store, if even that, because that is not a lot, dude. That is not a lot.
Go any leaner than we did. Because if we'd have had a few more things go wrong in the past couple of years, we would, I don't know, I'd be kind of worried about where we are financially. Another thing that I guess I would add is it turns out earning $30,000 a year between the two of us is pretty freaking easy. Like,
you don't say.
We were both unemployed for a while because
probably earning more than 30 grand unemployed.
Collecting those big fat unemployment checks, so it wasn't a big issue for us. But we actually
There
got
you go.
very bored and kind of depressed when we were quarantining and
Huh.
being unemployed. I
You
was
don't
itching
say.
to go back to my kind of chill, easy delivery driving job. My life was feeling kind of aimless without it. So that's one thing that has kind of surprised me is now that we've got a routine figured out and all of the difficulties associated with the transition, moving to a different place, like figuring out a new schedule, learning how to do a new job, blah, 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 blah. Now that those transitions are completed and everything's really settled down to us and for us. In fact, the routine that we have now kind of feels like the routine that I've always had. I sort of can't remember what my day-to-day felt like as a teacher. Like,
Then maybe that's a sign that nothing's really changed, right? I don't know. Call me crazy, guys. Call me crazy. And again, like this guy, he's different than me, right? And he's different than probably most people in my audience. But can you guys tell? Because he just seems like he's just trying to like maybe make himself feel better. I'm willing. Look, guys, I'm willing to bet that this dude is not going to be quote unquote fully retired for the rest of his life. I'm willing to bet this dude's going back to work. In fact, I can almost guarantee it. I think.
I haven't gotten up before. I haven't gotten out of bed before 6 a.m. in ages. Like I just kind of can't remember what my routine used to be. So I kind of have a new normal now. But anyway, I've really come to realize that the amount of money that we need to sustain ourselves at this point is very easy to earn. Like I can earn $15,000 a year almost in my sleep. Like
I think anyone
I
could.
have enough stamina, and it's really, I don't know. I don't mind spending the energy to go out and hustle $15,000 a year. It's just like it's just such a small amount of money.
I think a McDonald's worker could make more than that, or does make more than that, right?
So yeah, am I happy that I didn't go through more super stressful years of being a teacher, collecting those $45,000 paychecks instead of the $15,000 a year that I'm getting now? Yes, I am. In fact, I don't really mind working for the rest of my life or into my 60s.
You know what?
Or something.
You know what, guys? Maybe this guy, maybe he actually is more happy doing. Maybe guys teaching sucked that much. Maybe teaching sucked that much, but like I don't think he realizes that he could still have free time. Maybe I don't even like just 2 or 3 years in the future if he were to like go and do something specific that he enjoyed to do, learn how to make money off of it and benefit other people. Insert cliche entrepreneur quote there, right? As opposed to just driving like Uber, because I feel like Uber is definitely not a stress-free job. I would assume. Snowman Mike says, if you look at McDonald's coupons for breakfast, it was 2 for $5 2 years ago. You got some coupons 2 weeks ago. It's now 2 for $7.58. That's a 50% increase in two out of 5 years. McDonald's inflation 50%, 15% seems more accurate. Are we going to go by the McDonald's inflation standard now? Hey, I believe it's more. I believe it's more than that, dude. I believe it's more than that. I mean, especially if you look at asset inflations, right? Inflation of asset prices. And even though we have like the stock market and the cryptocurrency market down, they're still like severely inflated, I guess you could say, in comparison to what, like 10 years ago, right? Spark55 says, well, reliable and as passive as possible cash flow is key, along with multiple incomes. Yeah, very true. Cody says it's okay. Ask Betty. I mean, I'm willing to bet that females enjoy teaching more than males. Could be wrong. Fellas. I don't know. Shoot, I don't know. Let's see. Let's let your boy keep speaking over here, okay, guys? He's almost done, I believe.
Doing like something between 5 and 20 hours a week of a job that I don't hate doing, that doesn't stress me out, where I punch out and then I go home and stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
But I think for someone where their expenses are a little bit higher than that, like to earn much.
I think his camera died.
If we had to earn, instead of 30,000 a year between us, if we had to earn like 40,000 or 45,000, that would actually stress me out, because then we'd be getting into the territory.
All right.
We can't just pick out any old job that we want. We need to find.
Okay, well, at that point, so he was just saying that, like, first of all, he's saying it's not hard to make $10,000 or $15,000 a year, but then he says at another $10,000 a year combined on top of that, which would be just $5,000 extra each, that would be stressful to do. I don't know. Something about this, I feel like this dude didn't do a whole lot of thinking before. So Snowman Mike and McDonald's we trust. Cappy talked about this. Did he really? I think I know what Cappy might say. And speaking of, you know what, fellas? We can get back to his video in a second. Let us actually show you guys the article that I wanted to show you guys. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for semi-retirement? Check this checkbox now to be semi-retired. And so this article, it seems to me, guys, that the semi-retirement is like a meme now. It's a thing, right? The guy in the video that we just watched, I believe his purpose for the semi-retirement is different than the semi-retirement influx that we are about to see for the baby boomer generation. And let's read this and see if we can derive anything from it and figure out why. As the title says, semi-retirement is a new job trend among baby boomers. By the way, guys, this is from 2 days ago, as you guys can see. They call it the great semi-retirement, the great rugging. That's where a lot of boomers might be headed, as employers try to convince older staffers to stick around longer in a labor market plagued by a shortage of workers. So, now, friends, what is the real problem here? I think we have two problems. I think, just maybe, guys, just maybe, that most of the boomers, because of how they were taught and because of what they did as far as money, credit, etc., because of that, it's going to be a lot harder for them to retire than what they were told by their financial advisors. Problem number one. Problem number two. And I would say, too, actually, let's go back to problem number one. Because if you have more than enough money to live for the remainder of your life with, unless you really love your job or you own your own business, are you really going to like go and continue to be a slave for somebody else at a place that you might not like to be at? I don't know. I wouldn't. But that's just me, though. And the second problem, guys, is the shortage of workers. Now, why, guys? Why, oh, why do we think we have a shortage of workers? I don't know. Definitely couldn't have anything to do with anything I've ever talked about on my stream in the last 8 months. So about 2/3 of boomers say their companies are, quote, well prepared to handle their departures. Yeah, right. According to a new survey from the Harris Poll commissioned by Express Employment Professionals, a provider of staffing solutions. But less than half of these employees, 48%, say their companies have an adequate successor in place when they do retire. I wouldn't say half is good. Less than half. I would say that's not good, right? The one potential answer is quote unquote semi-retirement. And there you go, fellas. Everyone clap. We got the meme, guys. Semi-retirement. Semi-retirement. Yes, people have too much debt. Yeah, for sure. So they need to keep working soulless jobs. Yep. Cody Moose in the Who says, and before boomers start working jobs, they told millennials are just for kids. Better get that McDonald's hat out. Andrew K says lots of 55 plus apartments are being built around me. Most boomers will have to prepare to downsize. Yeah, I'm willing to suspect that too. Snowman Mike, the ones that go back to work, owned bonds and not Orange Coin. Yikes. Huge yikes. Harry says, I've seen a news story about C-suite execs joining the Great Resignation. Not surprised. Not surprised in the slightest about that. So the survey of 2,000 U.S. workers, adults ages 18 and older, found that most employees would take part in semi-retirement if they were offered. So like I said before, if you were just working a soulless job and you had enough capital to retire off of and go do whatever you want, why would you do that? It makes no sense. For what? A quarter of your salary? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They're offering people. Let's find out. Nearly 8 in 10, so 79% favored doing so through a flexible work schedule, while 66% said they'd be willing to transition to a consulting role. 66 and 59% said they would be open to reduced hours and benefits. But only about 21% said their employers offer semi-retirement options. The percentage could rise dramatically as employers try to adopt to a new working dynamic. Brought to you by the COOF. More than 1/5 of survey respondents said that the pandemic has caused them to delay their retirement plans, while about 1/10 said that the COOF convinced them to retire earlier than planned. And I think, and what else have you guys learned so far from this amazing, lovely educational channel here, friends? I mean, like a lot of people just like ended up doing job transitioning, changing their careers entirely, opening their own businesses, moving places because of the COOF. So, that part doesn't surprise me, if I'm being quite honest with you guys. But a much larger percent, more than 2/3, said they're worried about saving enough for retirement. So back to what I said at the beginning when we were reading this article, making them prime candidates for work arrangements that would let them keep earning money. Yeah, more than 40% of boomers said that there are certain benefits their employers could offer that would entice them to remain on the job. Of these, 58% want more help transitioning to retirement, which could lead to a rise in semi-retirement. Like, you need to have a transition into it. Another option is to bring former employees back to serve as knowledge experts or mentors. With so many employers facing a labor shortage, it makes sense for companies to investigate all available alternatives to fit their payroll. Yeah, guys. I mean, all right. So back to the Great Ruggening. I don't know if I actually made a stream with the title Great Ruggening, but you guys know I talked about it, right? I don't see this giant overbloated corporate structure that we have right now, this centralized structure, as continuing in the same manner. I just don't. It goes back to that loop, the hard times loop, right, guys? Right, fellas? Self-employment seems to be the best option. Yes. Depending upon what it is that you do, I would say so. It's genius. Boomer estates, semi-retirement homes. So, I think the boomers that are probably the most safe are the ones that actually own like property. Like, because that's one thing that hasn't gone down with all this crazy like volatility and all these markets is property values are just continuing to go up. But after that, I mean, like, I don't think they have much capital, guys, because like that generation was the generation that was handed the credit card, right? They kind of needed to because of inflation. Yeah, wages rise too. But after the 1970s, like inflation continued to go up I'd to the 80s and 90s. And now wages didn't really go up in the same percentage, right? So people literally couldn't survive without credit. I mean, guys, what is it like? What does an average to cheaper car cost brand new? Let's not even talk about the used car market now. I saw a goddamn Ford Bronco for sale yesterday for $100,000. A used one, $100,000. That's literally a 2x markup from the dealership. So let's talk about the new cars. Like, what is a Honda Civic? Like $30,000? The average salary in America is like $39,000, $45,000, right? Give or take. So So like, how are people going to do that? Right? Most people just can't. So then you take on top of that, you have a wife, kids, like multiple mortgages, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's no way that they could have done it without credit. Alas, that was all just by design. I believe, in my personal opinion, someone Mike says, money isn't real. Shh, don't say the silent thing. What? Mike, how dare you? How dare you say something like money isn't real? Come on, man. What do you think? They just like make that shit digitally by pressing a button out of thin air? They don't do that. Come on. Come on, Mike. Come on. I think a base model Jetta is about the cheapest you can get. At least 2019 it was. LOL. How much, Cody? Cody, how much was that? How much, Cody? You tell me. If you're, I mean, Bitcoin is bad. There we go. More like it. That's more like it. I mean, if you were in IT, B1099 worker, yeah. I mean, if you're anything B1099 worker, faux show. Even if you own your own company, have your company be an S corp and have that. Then have your own LLC and have the S corp pay you $15K. All right, that's not so bad. There's no way that you can. That's in 2019 though, right? Not now, right, Cody? Because we all know what happened as far as the money supply from just the last measly 2 years. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's probably add like another 20% to that. Unless you're talking about now. In that case, that ain't so bad. Good luck finding a used one, though. Yeah, it's probably 18 to 20 now. I would say so. Probably so. But guys, the issue here is... Okay, I'm gonna get really conspiracy theory with you guys. The monetary system we have doesn't work. It's made of paper and lies and credit. So, if you guys care about your boomers out there, be prepared 20, 30 years on the line to take care of them in the same way that they used to take care of you guys. That's all I got to say, because I see that coming. All right. And that's if my generation of millennials can even take care of themselves by then, which I'm not too bullish on, if I'm being quite honest with you guys. We need a stream dedicated to entrepreneurship, aka the way to freedom. Okay. I'll write a note on that. Literally, infinitely right now. I will indeed write a note on that. Let's see. Making note for you, my friend. Don't worry. But as far as that article goes, fellas, I mean, I could have told you what I was going to say before we even read it, guys. Right? Not because I read it before, which I did. Obviously, I read it before the stream, right? But even before that, I already knew what it was going to say. I had a hunch. Short the West. Yep. I am definitely going to be shorting the West with 100x leverage. It's almost as if everyone should take on a bunch of debt with low interest and buy real assets, Orange Coin. It's almost like that would be the only, like, it's almost like that shouldn't make any sense and that shouldn't benefit you at all, but it's almost like it does and that it actually makes sense. Huh. So it's almost like we live in a world ruled by clowns who intentionally did all this by design because they thought it was funny. Huh. I guess you could call that clown world. Anna V says location independent entrepreneurship. Yep. Cody says, God, this chat is so base. Yes, indeed. It is. Yeah, guys. We got to look out for the boomers, okay? We really, really do. You know, those boomers probably should have just learned to code. They probably should have gone to developerdirection.com and signed up and learned to code. And then they might not have been in this situation. But until then, fellas, I don't think there's much we can do for them except for to build our own capital so that we can carry them on our backs later on. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. That is all I have.